Okay. I want you to access this particular link which I have sent you via chat, right? And then I want you to download. We can download the source distribution, right? And then since I hope you are using a Windows laptop, therefore I want you to download this DB 10.2.2.0 source. Right now, this is a much outdated version, right? Because why I'm using this is I'm using different versions of NetBeans IDE. Therefore, in order to make it compatible with all the versions, I'm using this particular thing. And then in order to do the database services, you don't have to use JavaDB. You could use SQL Server, MySQL. Likewise, there are different vendors, different services available. Therefore, you could use it. Therefore, it's a matter of connecting the database. That won't be a much problem. Right. Now, here I'm going to show you how to deal with this JavaDB with the NetBeans IDE. And this version is working with any of the NetBeans versions. Right. Basically, any of the versions means NetBeans 8 and Apache NetBeans 12 or whatever the latest version. This will work. Right. Now, have you downloaded this, Samadhi? Okay, if you have downloaded this, then right now the downloaded folder, right now, I'm gonna put the downloaded folder for me inside the Java folder. Right now, it doesn't matter. Even you can keep it on the downloads, right? It doesn't matter. Right now, therefore, you can keep your downloaded folder on anywhere, right? Remember the location. Right now, this is what I'm talking about. This is the extracted version, JavaDB 10.2.2.0 big, right? Now, this is what I want you to download, right? After you download it, let's open the NetBeans. Now, 18.
So it says that it can't download it securely.
This one?
Yes. There's a security issue.
When you click on download, it gets downloaded.
Huh?
I don't think that. Will I be able to send it via chat? I don't think. Let me. That is because of the zip file from your browser. You may have restriction there.
Okay, I'll check.
Right. Now this is the one you need to extract it. I don't think that we'll be able to send it via chat. Let me try. Yeah, it works. It might take small time for upload and then it will be shared. You are unable to download yet, no? Thereafter, now you just downloaded the folder and then just keep it anywhere, wherever you have it. Just remember the location of it, right? Extracted version. Now, in my case, I have put that into the same location as the Java location. Therefore, that is inside my program files Java. Now, this is the version I'm talking about, right? Now, this is the extracted or unshipped version, uncompressed version of the folder download, right? Then, from the NetBeans, right, go to Services tab. Go to the Services tab. Right, if you are unable to find the Services tab, go to Windows and then select Services. Right? And under Services, you will see databases. Under that, from the databases here, select the Java DB. Now you will see Java DB, right? Now right click on that, select Properties. Select the Properties. Right. Then for the Java DB installation, right, now this is where you should provide the downloaded folder location. Now you just downloaded a folder and you unzipped it or uncompressed, and then select the folder which you have just downloaded and uncompressed, that 10.2.2.0, right? And select the installation folder. And for the below one, for the database location, any folder, just create any folder on desktop or whatever the place, and then assign it. Now this is to save the databases you create. Now what you are going to do is you're going to create databases. Therefore, this is to store the databases you create, right? And then for the first one, select the folder you just downloaded and uncompressed, right? Now this is the folder which is in my Java folder. This is it, right? And then for the database location, select any folder. Right now, I have Java DB. Right, there's a folder in my documents folder called Java DB, and I'm going to select it. Now that is the folder I'm going to use to uh, store the databases which I'm going to create. Right. After doing this, click OK. Right. Now once you see that, like now you will see Java DB, and then you can select Start Serve. Now you will be able to select Start Serve. Right. After starting the server, you can select. Now is it working? Start server. Does it work? Yes. Does it work? Start server.
So still my folder is unzipping. I'll try it.
Okay, quickly do it.
Okay.
Right. Were you able to do this now? Right. Okay. Anyway, you can refer the video then. Right. Now what I'm going to do is now here. Right now I want you to start now. I want you to select start server. Okay, let me delete this first. Right. Okay. Right. Right, then I want you to click on the, okay, now I have started server. Now it says server started and ready to accept connections, right? Then you can select create database, and you can provide the database name. I'm going to name it as users DB, let's say. And you need to provide the username. I'm going to provide app, and I'm going to set the password as 123. Right, select the password as 123. Right. You can provide any username and any password, it doesn't matter, right? Once you do it, you will see there's a folder created based on the name you have given. And again, there will be database connection created, then JDBC, Derby. In the local host, you will see the connection created, and username you have given will be the default schema. Then it will show you as app on app because I have used the username as app. Then you can right click on this and select connect, and then only this connection get activated. Right thereafter, you will see based on the schema you select app, you will see some tables, views, and procedures, but there is no tables, no views, and no procedures. Empty because we just created an empty database. Right. I hope you guys are following me. Zenturant, have you?
Yes, sir. Yes, following. Yeah.
Right. And thereafter, I'm going to create a database now. The database created already. I'm going to create a table. Right now, if you want to refer more, right now, if you want to refer about SQL, I will recommend you to use W3 Schools SQL. Right here, you can see the SQL queries and everything. You can refer it from here. And now I'm now create database already done. Now I want to create tables. Therefore, I'm just gonna refer how to create a table. And in order to create a table, you can select create table and the table name, create table, the table name, and you can provide the column types. And this is how you create table, right? And if you want here, you could use in order to create a table, you can execute a query, right? You can write a SQL query and do it, or else you could do it using the interface. Right now, until you get familiar with SQL, I'm going to use the interface, but you can't do much advanced stuff. Whenever if you want to use SQL queries, right click on the table and select execute command, and here type whatever the query you want, and then click on this button. Now that will execute the query. Right now, I'm going to use the GUI in order to create the table itself. Then select create table. I'm going to name it as user data. I'm going to name the table as user data. I want columns. Then I want to store the username. Let's say username, and I'm gonna set it as the type. The values I'm gonna store is username, most probably characters, therefore variable characters, varchar. And size, I want to define a size. If I using varchar, I'm gonna say must be greater than 0 value. Therefore, let's say 10. Therefore, the maximum username size is gonna be 10. And this is gonna be my primary key. Then I'm gonna enable this as primary key. Then a primary key, and this is unique, and this is not null, right? username. And I want to have the password. And I'm going to say password. And let's say password also user can type alphanumeric values with the symbols. Therefore, I'm going to set the varchar and size, let's say 10. You can provide any size. And then if you don't want to have it as null, if the password cannot be null, therefore you can remove this tick. Therefore, then you can't have null values there. You need to have a value. Right. And then you can click OK. Right. Now we have created our username and the password columns or the fields. Right. Then click OK. Then you will see user data table is there. There are two columns, username and the password, and username is in red color. That shows you that is the primary key, and the indexes also you can see the primary key. Right, there is no foreign keys at the moment. Therefore, now you can see only the primary key is there. Right. Okay, then we have just created the table. Now it's a matter of assigning the values for that. Right. Therefore, now right click on the table, then select view date. Okay. Beforehand, quickly at the table. Right. Then in order to add the values, right click on the table, select view data, and then here you will get an error due to this fetch command. Therefore, remove this fetch command. Right now, even here also, if you refer to the W3 school site, now how to find the how to retrieve the values, then you can select SQL select command. Now, if you want to select all the columns, now you need type select. A strict means all from customer, whatever the table name. Select all from the table name. Therefore, let's try it out. Right. Select all from. Now our table name is user data. Select all from user data. All right. Now when you click on it, right, you can see empty table retrieved, no values. Now in order to add values, if you want, you could write insert queries, right? You can try out from the W3 school site. You can refer to SQL insert, then insert into query, right? You can try out this insert into. Here there are examples, right? Now, if you don't want to do that, you can just do it using the interface. Right, click on this plus icon, insert records, and then type the usernames and the passwords. I'm going to have two sets, admin 1234 as the username, and I'm going to add another row, user ABCD123. Right, I'm going to have another one, app F123. Right, F123. Likewise, I'm going to set some values. Right. Now, this is not the exact way of doing this. Now, this is the very basic one, very first step of creating a database. That's why I'm using a clear text in order to store the password. Then you need to find out, you need to do a small research, how to store usernames, how to store passwords, because those are sensitive information. Therefore, how to store those details that you need to do. Right now, when you click on this select all from user data, now you will see these values will be retrieved. That means now you can see we have created a database. Under the database, we have created a table. And in this table, we have added some values. Right now, we have some values in our data table. Right. Okay. Quickly do up to this point.
How to add the directories?
Directories in the sense?
The location of the downloaded.
You can put it anywhere. It doesn't matter. Right now, you can just have, now let's say inside the downloads folder you have it. It doesn't matter. You can just go to properties and then Java DB properties. Browse the folder you just downloaded and select it. That's it.
Okay.
Right. Then I hope now the time is enough. Now we are done with this setting the database thing up. Right. Then I'm gonna go ahead with the creating a project. Right. What is this? Right. Okay. Now let's create a new project. You can select file, new project. And Java application. Next, you can provide the name for it, and then you can. Right now, this is our Java project, and now I'm gonna create a JFrame form. Add the JFrame form saying login GUI. And there I'm gonna add some two labels, saying username, then the password. I'm gonna get a text field to get the username and the password field to get the password. And I'm gonna have a button to clear. Right now to submit. Another button to cancel. Right. Then I'm gonna have another interface, another GUI, JFrame form. I'm gonna say main GUI. Right, for the time being, I'm gonna just add hello user. I'm gonna just display hello user and a label. That's it. That means if the user enters the correct username and the password, I'm gonna call this interface. That's what I'm gonna do. Right. Okay, now login user interface done. Now it's a matter of having the backend for this. Now, when you click on the submit button, what I want to do is I want to get what user has entered, and thereafter, okay, let's get what user has entered. String username is equals jtext field 1 dot get text, and string password is equals to string dot value of jpassword field dot get password, because jpassword field get password will return a char array that we already discussed, and then this char array we need to convert into a string. Therefore, using the string dot value of method, we're going to convert this char array into a string array. Right now, it's a matter of connecting it to a Java DB and then check with the values from the Java database. Right. For that, right now I need particular information and I'm going to store those values here. Right, you don't need to store those, right? Yes. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is here now I'm going to connect. I'm going to connect into a Java database. Right now, sometimes database services may be up and running or may not. There may be issues. Therefore, in Java, it might throw an exception. Right now, the exceptions. Now, for an example, let's say when you are trying, if you have implemented a calculator, now you wanted to get two numbers and you want to get the division. Right, but if you ask user to enter two numbers and user enters 10 and 0, and then if you perform 10 divided by 0, now the Java program will get stopped, saying that arithmetic exception, division by 0. Right now, that is an exception. Now, that is a runtime exception. Right now, that cannot be anticipated at the beginning during the runtime that happens, and then that will stop the program working, and it will throw an exception. Right. Therefore, in Java, there is a way to handle that exceptions. If there's an exception happen, then the codes which are probable of throwing an exception, you can put inside a safe cages. Now that you call as a try catch. Or in the method itself, you can define this method may throw an exception. At the beginning, you can say this method may throw an exception. Or else you can handle that inside a try catch flow. And don't worry, the next week we're going to talk about exception handling, right? Therefore, now let's see how to do this. Now, inside the try block, if you are using a try, after the try, you need to have a catch. Now, inside the catch block, you need to mention the type of the exception you're going to handle. Therefore, rather specifying the subtypes, I'm going to have the exception superclass, which is exception. Therefore, now any type of exception thrown from this code will be catched by this exception handler. And if there's an exception has been occurred, I'm going to display what has been occurred. Right. For me to work out. Right. Now, what I want to do is first I want to create a connection. I want to create a connection to the the database, right? Therefore, I'm going to use Java SQL connection. Now, this is a SQL statements are executed here to connect to the specific database. Connection object, I'm going to put as a con equals, right now, I need to get the connection. Therefore, through the driver manager, right, driver manager dot get connection, I want to pass the URL, username, and the password. The URL field. Okay, look at this carefully. Now the URL field is now from your Java DB. Now you created a table called a database called user DB, right? Then there's a connection we created here. Go to that connection and right click and select the properties. There you can find the URL of your database. Therefore, take a copy of this URL. Right. And the username and the password, I have given the username as app and the password I have given as 123. Right. Copy the URL. And the username app and the password 123. Right now, I want to create SQL statements. Therefore, I'm going to create a statement object as well. Statement equals connection dot create statement. And let's have a string query. The query is to get all the values from the table. Now select all from the table. Now select all from the table. Right. Now string query select all from user data. That is the query which I want to execute. Select all from user data. Right. Now when I execute this, I want to retrieve the values. Now the values will be returned as a table. Now the values returned. Now the values returned. Now you can see that when you execute select all from the table name, it returns as a table. Now these are the values I have been received. What I'm going to do here is there is something called result set. I'm going to use the result set object in order to result set. Right, result set is a table of data representing a database result set. Right now, which is usually generated by executing a statement that queries the database. Now that's what we're going to do. Result set, which is RST. Right, result set object equals, now from the statement object, we created statement dot execute query. Now we're going to execute the query. Now the query we have written, which is the select all from user data. Right now, here, if you want, rather creating a query variable, you could do it here. Yeah, then you don't need this. Right. Now, after doing this, right. Now, what I want to do is, now what actually I have received in the result set. What actually I have received in the result set. If I have received values, then you know to get those. Now, result set. By default, the result set index is set to -1. Therefore, result set index set to -1. Now, I'm going to use while loop in order to travel through the result set object. Now, there's a method called next. Now, you can see the description here. Right now, the next method is returning a Boolean value that move the cursor forward one row from its current position. A result set cursor is initially positioned before the first row. That's why I said it is set as -1. Therefore, the first call to the method next makes the first row the current row. Therefore, when you call initially next method, it will set the first row as the current row. And again, if you call the next method, then the second row as the current row. And continuously it will go. And let's say now you are in the last row. And again, if you call the next, then since there is no next row, it will return false. It will return false. When a call to the next method returns false, that means the cursor is positioned after the last row. Right. Therefore, now you could use a result set object.next method to iterate through the result set. Now if I want to see what are the values I got, I'm gonna let's say I'm gonna get the string username value that is taken from result set dot. Now you can see get string. You can get the string by column label or the column index. Now column label or the column index. Let's say now since I know the column labels, I'm gonna go with the column labels. Right now, uname and password. Right now, column name is uname. Result set object dot get string password. Right. And for the time being, I'm gonna display the username and the password if it is connected. Right. This is it. But now when I run this, I should get an error now. That means now here you can see I'm gonna click on submit. Then only this code will get triggered. Right now you will see exception has been thrown. The exception is no suitable driver. Now from the driver manager we have created the connection. Can you see that here in the code? Driver manager.get connection. But then now it cannot identify the exact driver for this Java database. Now it's a matter of finding out what is the driver manager. What is the driver manager? Right. Okay, let me figure it out. 10.2.2.0. Right now, I figured out now 10.2.2.0 is the version we are using. Now, this is the Maven repository for the 10.2.2.0 Derby client. Right. Now, let me take a copy of this. I will send you the. Okay, let's see whether it works, and thereafter I will send you the link. Right. Thereafter, now you can see now we need to set the driver now with the previous NetBeans versions. Right now, under this project, there were libraries, and under the libraries, you could add the jar file. Now that since now here in the Maven projects right now under dependencies, okay, under project file, yes, under project files you will have pom.xml. Therefore, now you can open the pom.xml, and now this is where all the required settings are there. Right now in this XML, we can define what are the dependencies. Right now, can you quickly show and find out and tell me how to put the dependencies in the pom.xml? How to put the dependencies in the pom.xml? Okay, quickly figure out and tell me. Right now, then you can add dependencies tab. And you can close the dependencies. Under the dependencies, you can paste what you have copied from there. Right. But then this is what we have copied. We have opened the dependencies and close it. Under this, we have set the Derby client dependencies. It's okay. Let me run it and show you. And now I'm going to run this. Now, when I click on the submit button, right now you can see it got connected. This is how the values are retrieved. Right now, let me send you the link. Right, not only for Mr. I want to set it to everyone. Right now, I have sent you the this address, and then just take a copy of this. Take a copy of this, right? And thereafter, go to the pom.xml. Open the pom.xml and open dependencies. Now this is how you do it. Dependencies and close it. Right. Open the tag and close it as well. And thereafter copy the dependency. The dependency is okay, take a copy and then put it here. Right. And then if you want to have it format, you can click on format, then it will be aligned accordingly. Right. Okay, then this is a comment. I don't want it. Right. After putting the dependency, right now you can go to your project and you could run it and see. Then this will work accordingly. This will display the usernames and the passwords taken from the database. Now you can see we have made the connection to the database table we created, and we have retrieved the values from the database table. Right. Now that means two things are connected. Now it's a matter of checking with what the user has entered and what the values we have in the user and what are the database table. If it is matching to display something, or if it is not matching, saying username and password are invalid. Now that's the logic we need to build. Right. Okay, quickly do up to this point. Okay, let me create variables for message to have the message, and thereafter we'll have variable called Boolean variable flag. We'll declare it here. Boolean flag equals false. Now I'm going to check whether if username equals, it doesn't matter let's say the case, username equals to you. If the username is equals and if the username is equals, and again I'm going to check if the password equals exact match with the P. If the username and password is the same, I'm gonna say Right, then I'm going to say flag equals true. And I need to display the other form. The other form is the main GUI which I created. Right now, the main GUI, I need to set this label to value. Right now, in order to set the label to value, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the source here and I need to get the main GUI. Therefore, I'm going to copy the constructor here and paste it. Then duplicating, I'm going to overload it by passing a string variable called name. After the components, I'm going to say JLabel 2 dot set text the name. I have just changed the I have just copied the constructor and then overloaded the constructor with the name variable, and thereafter I need to just call this part. I need to call the main GUI. Right, that's what we have to do. Right, then here right, then we can have the main GUI. We can say new main GUI. We need to use this constructor. Now we need to pass the username, which is p dot set visible true, and this dot set visible false. And for the message variable, I can say welcome, and I will reset the username. Right. And if it is username correct, if the username is correct, the password is wrong. Right, then I can have it inside this. If the username and the password correct, I'm gonna do this. Else I'm gonna saying message, I'm gonna set it as invalid username or password. And then I don't have to use a flag. We can display this and thereafter we can exit from the loop. After exiting this, we can say option pane dot show message dialog, the message. Right, now let's see. Hello, 1, 2, 3. It says invalid username and password. And if I say admin 5678, invalid username and password, admin 1234. It says welcome 1234. And here. This displays hello user. All right. Now this has to be the what? The P, it has to be username, not the password to display. Right. Now this is how it's gonna work. But now when you run it, this is how it works. When you run this now, okay, let's implement the cancel button as well. Thereafter we can go. Right. If you go to the design and if you click on cancel, what you need to do is you need to set jtext field one dot set text into empty and jpassword field one dot set text into empty, and we need to appear the cursor on the text field one, then jtext field one dot request focus. Right. And thereafter, after displaying this message, we can call this method. Right. After we can call this method jbutton2 action performed event, then even like now this will, if the username and password is correct, this will anyway, this gonna hide this frame. If it is wrong, right now this will reset it. Now this is how, let's see, you can type whatever, and if you click cancel, it got cleared. If you type admin 1234, it's correct username and password. Now it will say welcome admin. You click OK, and it will display here as well. Now, hello user admin. Now we need to have how to do that. All right, when you are creating the new object here, we have the password here that you need to pass as the user. Right, that's it. Right, now this is how we do it. Okay, and quickly complete. Right, this is how we did it. Okay, quickly do it and try out whether it works in your. Now what I'm gonna do here is now in this design, I'm gonna have some variables in the sense I'm gonna add some text fields, some buttons, and a table just to show you how to do the CRUD operations: create, read, update, delete. Right now, you already know how to connect with the database now and how to read the values. You already know. Now let's see how to do the insert, update, delete, and search. Right now, which you have to apply for your project, which you have to submit by 27th, and end of the day. Today we will discuss what is your project, what you are planning to do. Over the next week, you need to tell me what you are planning to do, and then we can have a discussion. And thereafter, we'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm gonna have now. This is the user, right? Okay. I'm gonna leave this hello user thing, right? Username. I'm gonna leave this as it is. I'm gonna name it as username. Right, now this would be displayed like this, username. And thereafter I need to have some labels for, let's say, item ID. Let's say we have one for item details. I'm gonna have a panel, it's easier for me. And then for this panel, I'm gonna have a border. which is a title border, and the title have it as item details. Right, then I'm gonna have some item ID and item name, and then the price, and then the quantity. ID, item ID, item name, price, and the quantity. Right, then we need to have some text fields to retrieve the values. So we'll just double click as no concept. All right, another text field for the item name, one for the price, item ID, then like this, the price. Right. And I need to have some buttons for insert, update, delete. Insert, update, and delete. Insert, update, and delete. And also there is another one called search. Right, then here we have a text field. Now you can have omni search here, right? Either search by item ID or name or the price, anything, or else you can have a field. You can have some radio buttons to display how to do it, like whether it is to search by item name or the item price or item name. Likewise, or you can implement an omni search. It's up to you. And then I'm gonna add a table here. Right, table. Right, now this is what I'm gonna do here. Right. Right. Okay. Then right. Okay. Now let's create some tables. Let's create some tables in order to store the item details. Right now, let's go back to the services tab. I'm going to use the same database right now without creating a new database. I'm going to use the same database tables, and I'm going to create a new table called items table. Items table, and I'm going to add item ID. Item ID going to be an integer, let's say. Right, integer. Therefore, no size required, and that's going to be the primary key. And item name. Item name going to be a variable character. Size going to be 10. You can have any size. And you're going to have the price. Price, you can select it as double here. Right. And you can have quantity. Quantity, you can set it as an integer. Yeah. You can set the table like this, and thereafter you can add the values like previously. Now, by clicking on the plus icon, you can go ahead. Let's say chair. Okay, item ID 101. Item name is chair. Price is 1,500.90. Quantity 10. Add row 102. Table. Price is 5,999. Quantity 5. Okay. I have 2 records only. Right. Okay, then I have only 2 records. Then let's get back to the, now we have created the table called items with item ID integer, item name varchar, price double, quantity integer. Right. Now it's a matter of going back to the interface we have here. Then for this table, right click on the table and then go to properties. Here from the table model, you can customize the table model from the properties table model. Here you can customize it. Right now, how can you set this? What are the values like now? How can you set the columns and so on right now? How to change it now? Quickly figure out and tell me. How can I set the table columns, column names? Right. Okay, now either you can click on the table contents, and then you can select whether the column names, if you want, you can rename from here as well, or the is in the table modulo, so you could do it. Now I'm gonna set it as item ID and item name, then the price, and then the quantity. Right. Now, guys, I have just changed the table names. Right. Right now, we are done with this. Now let's see how to load the values to this table first. Right now, therefore, let's go back to the code behind of this one. And let me hide. Right now, here I'm gonna use the connections object frequently. Therefore, I'm gonna define the connections object. Connections object. And I'm gonna have, I'm gonna use the prepared statement also. Now previously I have used the statements. Now this time I'm gonna use prepared statements. Now this is the prepared statement. Will give you now this is an object that represents pre-compiled SQL statement, and the statement is pre-compiled and stored in a prepared statement object, right? Prepared statement object, a statement. And after this constructor, here I'm going to write another method called void load data, load fill table. I'm going to have a method called fill table. And inside the constructor, I'm going to call this method fill table. And for both, I'm going to have it because, like, if I just right click and select run method, now this is going to execute this GUI, this component. Right, inside this fill table method, now I need to create the connection back. Therefore, the typing everything from the beginning. You can write nothing, you could do it. No, you can't, just nothing to copy, only this. Right now, inside the try catch block, we could try again. Now the connection already defined in the then I can use it. Drive manager.get connection, right? And the statement also, prepared statements I have done it. And I'm gonna have connection dot prepare statement. Now I need to retrieve the values from the table. Now that value should be from select all from items. Select all from items should return the values. Therefore, let's get the select all from the items. Right now we have the connection object. Try the catch has to be followed. We could copy it from there. Now we can get the result set object as well in the previously as we have used. Result set object statement dot execute query, because now already already compiled queries there, no? In prepared statements, therefore you just need to call the execute query. Right. Now the result set contains the retrieved values. Now here, what I'm gonna do is here I'm gonna use a default table model. Default table model, because I need to load the values to this table, therefore default table model, DTM equals, now we need to get the table model which is set to the table one dot get model, table one dot get model, but then that has to be a default table model type. Right, we have done the casting. Right, now thereafter we have done it. Not using the while loop, now we could go ahead. While loop rs dot next. C dot next. We can create a vector. We could create a vector in order to get the values. Vector v equals new vector. Then we can add into the vector v dot add rs dot dot result dot get string. There's a string, there's a string in the Java component, right? We can start with the column indexes this time. Right. And finally, we can add into default table model dot add row. We can add the row into the table model. And after the table model, we can say JTable1 dot set model default table model. We will set the row as well. We add the 0 btm dot default table model dot set row. Row count, so we don't need it. We'll see. But no need it. Now you can see, right, we will set the row count as 0 initially, otherwise this will happen. Right, in order to avoid this, we will set it. This the default table model. Set row count. Right, now this will be fixed. Yeah, now this value, this would be displayed like this. Right. Right, now this is what we did. Now this is rather using vector. You could use any other as well, any other collections format. Even you can use a list, and you could do it now since we haven't used the vector. That's why I have shown you. Right. Now this is how you load the values to the table. Now it's a matter of load from the table when you selected a row to load the values to the text fields and then update the changes, and thereafter when you select and when you add a new details and to add into the table and the database both, and change, add, update, delete, we have to do it now. Okay, quickly try out. Okay, now we know how to load the values from the database table. That we have done it now. Right. Now, when I click on this table, when I click on the values from this table, I need to get the values to the these text fields. Now that I want to do now. Now let's try it out. That means when I click on this table, therefore the table mouse click event. Mouse click event. When I click on the table. Right. When I click on the table, I need to get the row number which I have. Row ID is equals to JTable1 dot get selected row. We need to get the selected row. Just a minute. Right. Then we need to get the selected row first, and we need to get the table model as well. Let's say get the table model. Yes. Table model. Table model. This specify the methods that JTable will use to interrogate tabular data model. Right. Okay. Table model. TM is equals to JTable1 dot get model. Right. Then it's a matter of setting the values to the text fields. We have JText fields 1 to 4. JText field 1 dot not get. It has to be set text. That is taken from table model. Table model dot get value at. Oh, get column name. We can pass the index number. Right now, what it returns the name of the column at the index. Right now, that is not what we require, right? Column name, we don't require the column name. Get value at, yes, get value at the row index. Row index, row index. Okay, selected row, yes, 0. Column index, that has to be 0. The selected row we have already given. The row ID is there. Row ID is 0. Okay, right. That's the problem. Object cannot be converted to a string. Object cannot be converted to a string. Not to a string. Right, now let's see how it works. Now this is how you see it. Now when you click on the values, the rows, it has to be updated. Right, now if I click on insert button, I want to insert a new ID. If I click on update, I want to update the existing table. Right, and if I click on delete, I need to remove one. That's what I want to do. Right. Let's see how to do that as well. Right now, when I click on the insert, right now, let's try it on insert button. When I click on the insert button, right now here also that from the previous code, we'll copy everything. Right now, I don't need these while loop thing. Yes. Right now, let's see how to do this. Result set also not required. Yes, we need to insert. Right now, we need to get the connection, and then we need to create a SQL statement now. Right now, this is where you need to know how to insert the record. Now, as I said previously, W3 school SQL. Right now, you need to know how to write the insert into statements. SQL insert. Where is it? Right here. Now this is how you write SQL insert queries. Insert into, if you are passing all the fields, you don't have to specify like this. Right now you can pass it. Right now insert into. Right now if you want, you can follow the same exact way. Insert into this one. Right, let's write it. Then insert into. Here, then insert into the table name. Table is items. We have created items values. Right. The table name is it items? Yes, items. Items values. Right, you can specify what are the table column names if you want here. Then the table column names are, we have item ID, item ID. Let's write it here and then it's easy. Insert into items, item ID, comma, item name, comma, price, comma, quantity, comma, values. You need to pass the values now. Okay, 4 values you need to pass, therefore I'm going to put the question marks. Right. Insert into items, values. Right. Now we need to set the values. Prepared statement is statement dot set string. Right now, we need to get the values. Now, item ID is an integer value I have used. Then, how can we pass the item ID? Right now, then item ID is not a string value, right? Therefore, set int. Now that I have to take from for the index number 1, I need to pass item ID, that is from integer dot pass int integer dot pass int what j text field 1 dot get text. Second one, item name. Now that is set string. The index number is 2. Now we can directly pass the jtext field 2 dot get text. Then the price, that decimal. Let doubles. Let's try out. Double dot pass, double dot jtext field 3 dot get text and the integer. Right, then fourth jtext field 4 dot get text. Thereafter, we need to say statement dot execute update, because we need to execute insert update queries. We need to use execute update, and then we can display a message saying option pane dot show message dialog. Record update forward inserted. Record inserted. And then we need to use the method we have written previously, fill table, because we need to load the values to the table. Right, now let's run it and see how it works. Let's say 103, because primary key constraint is done. And insert. Right, now if there's an error here, it has to be displayed. Syntax error encountered, well set, values, yes. Okay, this is the error. Right, now let's run it again. Record inserted. Now that record will be displayed here. Right, now this is how you do it. Right, now this is how we do the insert. Okay, the same way you could do in update and delete as well. Okay, try out quickly. Right now, okay, let's see the search. I hope that I have previously recorded about the search query. Anyway, I will quickly go through how we have done the search query. Right now, in order to do the search query, I have selected this text field 5, the event, as the key release. That means when I type something here and when I released event, I want to trigger this, therefore key released event. And then here, like I have to get the connection like previously, and then the query is to select query with the where clause. Therefore, now select SQL select query with the where clause, like with the condition. Now the condition, like with this where query, we can use set of some operators. These operators are these: equals, greater than, less than, likewise. Then I'm going to use the like operator. Like operator. The SQL like operator is used in where clause to search for a specified pattern in a column. Therefore, like the percentage sign represents 0, 1, or multiple characters. Now, the percentage sign refers to 0, 1, or multiple characters, right? And therefore, here, now I have used as a parameter from the text field 5, whatever the text, and at the beginning and at the end I have put the percentage sign. That means it doesn't matter whether it is whatever the text you have typed in the text field 5, whether it is at the beginning or in the middle or at the end. Therefore it will search for anything. And then we have used the result set object in order to get the values. Now this is execute query because it has to return a result set. And then we have taken a copy from these from the fill table method, because we cannot use the fill table method because there is no way to pass the result set here. If you are doing it, then these two has to change. Therefore, rather changing the fill table method and rest previously defined methods, I have just copied from here to here. This text has been copied there. Right, then here we have put this result set. We execute the query and the values added to the vector, and from the vector we have added to the default table model, and thereafter we have set the table 1 model as the vector, and that's what we display, and this is how it works. Right, thereafter now we thought of adding the language selection as well. Therefore I have added a new GUI called language GUI, saying select a language with 3 buttons: English, German, French. Right now, previously the flow was first user login, and then it called the main GUI. Now I want to change it from login GUI to language GUI. Therefore, login GUI to language GUI. Therefore, in the language GUI source, right now I'm gonna add the I'm gonna overload the constructor to get the logged in user username. Therefore, I'm gonna say I'm gonna get the name of the logged in user. I'm gonna get the name of the logged in user. Right then, name of the logged in user has been taken here, right, as a parameter. And then I have declared the public variable called string un, and I have assigned the username into here, right. Thereafter, now what can happen is, now from this login user line login GUI, now here I want to call the main GUI in the main GUI, right. Now, in order to do that, now we need to do some changes. Now we are going to do internationalization. We are going to do changes into this form, like according to the language you select. Now we know to do this. Okay, look at this carefully. Right now, go to the main GUI. Now, before this point, if you want, once you're done with this, you can take a copy and you can keep the backup project separately, and then you could try out. Otherwise, if you do a mistake, then you have to again redo everything. Right. Therefore, go to the form, select the form, JFrame, select the JFrame, then you will see under navigator, form main GUI. In the main GUI, I'm going to do this now. Right now, here you can go to properties. Now, in the properties, you will see automatic internationalization. Enable this automatic internationalization. If you do it, you will see there's a new file added called bundle.properties. New file added called bundle.properties. Now, click close. Right. Now, click on the bundle file now. In the bundle file, now this bundle file contains all the properties what you have in this form, which can be translated. Right. Then, right now, then we can have it now. We can have the languages. Therefore, right click on the bundle file and then select add locally. Add locally. Right now, the locally, I said English, German, French, the languages. Therefore, if it is German, you can select the country code and the language code, which is German, Germany, right? DED, then select it. If you add it, then it will add a new bundle file called DED. Right now, open it. You will see the text what you have here, and then we could do the conversions and see. Right, German to English to German. We need to have English text update. Okay, right, copy this and paste it here. We have insert. We can copy this and paste it here. And we have username. Quantity. Quantity. Price. Item name. Search. Oh. Item ID, it's too much, no? Architect light up. Right now, I'm gonna just use short format. Otherwise, we don't have much space here. Right, and then delete. And the details, item details. Right, and then I'm going to save this. Right, now this is for the German. And likewise, I'm going to right click on the bundle file, and I'm going to add a new locally called French France, and then you could try it for SILK for Sinhala Sri Lanka, but the problem is due to a Unicode issue, it is not working here in the NetBeans. Right, now let's quickly add this for the English to French. Item details like this. Delete. Item ID. Search and item name. Price. Quantity. Username. Insert. Update. Right. Now these are the text which I want to have for the bundle files. Right now this is also done. Now bundle files updated. Right, there's the bundle original file which we have not changed, that is in English. And then I have the French and German. Right now FRFRDED are those. Right now we have done the translation. Now what I need to do is right now I need to do some changes to the constructor here. Right now at the constructor, now in the main GUI, the constructor, now when I get this, now I need to pass the code into the locally. Therefore, with the name, I need to get the name as well. And also, I'm gonna have a locally variable, locally, let's see, let's say locally variable I'm gonna set, and then before the init components happen, I'm gonna have local dot set default, locally dot set default as the locally I'm passing. Right, locally dot set default as the value I'm passing, I'm gonna set. Now that means I'm passing the locally object as well. But now here I'm passing the locally object to this GUI. That means according to the locally I'm passing, this will work. Right now, now I want to pass this right in the main GUI. Right now for this main GUI, now from the language login GUI, it calls the now from the language, okay, login GUI calls the language GUI, passing the username. Now from the language GUI, right now I want to call this main GUI. From the language GUI, I want to call the main GUI. Right now from the language GUI, I have to call the main GUI. That means that should happen based on the language. If user selected English, if user selected English, if user selected English, if user selected English, language selection, if user selected English, I would call this main GUI with the name. Name means now we have a variable, global variable called UN declared, and from the language UI we have taken the name assigned to the UN. Therefore, we can pass the UN and we need to pass the locally. Now locally, we have to pass the locally what we want to use. Then new locally, I can pass the country code and the language code. Now if it is the default one, EN, country code gonna be US, right? And likewise, we can do it for the other languages as well. German, button 2. Here this has to be DE, simple, and country code has to be capital D as in the bundle file. And button 3, it has to be F bar and capital F bar. Right. And let's run it and see. Right. Right now, login GUI, I'm gonna run this now. Right now, I will get admin 1, 2, 3, 4, submit. Then it says welcome admin and it will display language selection interface. If you select English, if you select English, now it has to give you the English one, Germany or French, it has to provide us. But now the problem here is yes, we are getting an error now. The error is what? Locate, can't find bundle, can't find bundle. Now it says it cannot find the bundle. Right now, therefore, here we are getting an error now. It cannot find the bundle. Right now, in order to fix this, again, look at this very carefully. Now, in order to fix this, like if you are getting this can't find bundle error, you will get this for sure, right? Now, because the compiler cannot identify where the bundle files are, right? Right. Okay, then right click on the project and then select new folder. Right click on the project and then select new folder. Right click on the project and then select a new folder. And then change the name as src/main/resources. 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 And then finish. Right? Create a folder called right click on the project and select new folder. Then name it as src slash main slash resources. Right. src slash main slash resources. And thereafter, right, you can drag and drop the bundle files. There are 3 bundle files now. Select all 3 bundle files and then just drag into the folder you created, src main.resource. Right. Drag and drop the bundle files to the folder you created. Right. Drag and drop the bundle files to the folder you created. Right. Now thereafter, still this won't work. Right now, if you are right now, you have to right click and then select new folder and then set it as src main resources. Right. Now under this default package, you will see the bundle files. Right. Now, if you go to the form, right now, if you go to the form, right now you can go to the form. That is the main GUI, and go to the design view, and then from the click on the form main GUI and then select properties, and then select the property bundle file. Select property bundle file from this. Now you can see here which is inside what? This folder, right? Then select the bundle file which is inside our project src main resources and then click OK. What I did was, right, go to the JFrame at the design view and go to open the navigator, then right click, select properties, and then set from the properties bundle file, select this folder and then set the bundle file. That's what we did. Right, now let's run it and see how this is gonna work. Right now, not the hello world we need to run. We need to run the login GUI. Okay, now it has to display the login GUI. Right now, it is an invalid username, invalid password. It will say invalid username, password. If it is the correct username, admin, the password 1234. It says welcome admin, and then it has to display the language selection interface like this. Now, if you click on English, now that has to display the English one with the username displayed. If you select German right now, that would display details in German language. You can see all the labels are in German. If you select French, you can see here it would display in the things change to the French. Right now, if you close this, now everything will get closed. Therefore, if you don't want to do this, you could go to the form. Here, form properties, and then default close operation, you can change it to dispose. Default close operation, you can set it as dispose. Right now, you can set the default close operation as dispose. Right, then I'm going to set the main project as my language selection, main class as the login GUI, set main class. And then if I click on run button, now this would display this. Right now, it will ask the user to enter the username and password. User, I think password was given user123, no? I can't remember. User123. Submit invalid user. And then ABCD123. ABCD123. Right. Now then, it says welcome user, and then user can select the language. If it is English, it would display in English. Then search works, and insert update delete works. If it is German, it will be in German language. Like now I'm gonna add a new record here. See, that is there. And if I go to the French, it will open in French, and I can change this into a different text. Okay, that works. And then if I go to the English, now you can see that change is there, and I can delete it from here like this. And now this is how you do with the insert update. Now the database connection with insert update delete search, and again we have done internationalization, right? How to change the language also we have done. Right now the main thing what you have to do is after adding the bundle file, I will tell you again, right? What you have to do in order to internationalize, select the form, right click on the navigator form, and then from the properties you have to click on automatic internationalization enable. Then it will add a bundle file to your project. Once you add the bundle files, you can right click on the bundle file, then select add locally, and add the whatever the languages you want to change, and then open that bundle file and change accordingly the translations you can update. And afterwards you can go to the language GUI here. Right now, before that, like in the main GUI we have changed the constructor to accept the locally we are passing. Therefore here we have changed the constructor to accept the locally we are passing, and then we have changed the default locally as the locally we have passed. And thereafter now we can go to the language UI, then we have to call it. Now when you're calling, this username we have taken from the language UI, login GUI to get the logged in username, and then you can get the we can pass the name locally what you want to pass based on the button language you select. You need to pass this. This is how it works. Now it's in the video anyway, right? Now since one more thing I'm gonna do here, let's say now if I want to write into a file as well, like let's say now every time a new item is added, whenever new item is added, if I want to write into a text file, if I want to write into a text file, that also I'm going to do it now. Right now, let's say right now if I want to add a new file, when a new file is added, right? New item is added. Okay, let's go to the main project. Oh, yes. Right now, okay, now here, when the insert happens, where is this? Select, no, not this, insert, main GUI, after the insert happens, record inserted. Right, after the fill table, yeah, I'm gonna write into a text file when a user done a change. Then a user done a change. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file object. Then I'm going to use a file from java.io, file f equals new file. Now I need to pass the path of the file. Right now, let's say path of the file, C colon slash, it should be my users folder, and it has to be, I think it's easier if we create a file on the desktop. Right now, let me create a new text file called log.txt. Right now, C uses G1 desktop. File name was log, right? File name desktop. It has to be log, capital L, right? Log text. Right now, here I'm gonna use this file to update the text. Now you can read about how to write into a file, how to read from the file. We will discuss on the next day. Right, and thereafter I'm going to use the file writer. File writer fw equals new file writer, and I need to pass the file object as well. File writer fw equals new file object. Right, and thereafter let's say I want to get the date as well. Then I'm going to create the date Java SQL date d equals new date. Right. Right now you can pass when you're passing the date. Right now here you can pass the default values, or you can pass the long. That means date object is given my milliseconds time value. Right, or you can pass the values. Right now I'm not gonna pass the values here. Right. Okay, here we need to pass the values. Right. Okay, let's see how to do it in a little while. I can't remember. Okay. Then right now from the file writer, I want to write fw dot write, and before that I want to get the record added user details. Now here we get the username now. Right now here also I'm going to create a variable called string username string user equals here. After this here I'm gonna set user is equals to name. Right, and thereafter at the end I'm gonna say right now I'm gonna say fw.write the user added by, okay, let's say new item. Right, new item. Item ID we need to have. The item ID is available from here JText field item ID. Text field one.get text. New item is available at JText field one.get text. Added by the user. Added by the user. Right, and thereafter, right, what's the problem here? New item, okay, plus sign, right, added by the user, and then we need to flash it, do that. Flash, and we will close it. Right, now let's see how it works as well. Right now, when you run this, the language GUI, sorry, login GUI, User has to enter the username and the password, admin 1234, and it will ask you to select the language. Okay, you have to click OK. And I'm gonna add the new item 1021, insert record added. Okay, let me close it and open the log file and see. Right, the date has been updated. Log. Now you can see it says a new item. Item ID is there, and then added by the admin, added by the username, what the user logged in is displayed here. Right now, this is how it works. Right now, if I add a new item, another item, let's say 1015, again, I'm gonna insert. Right now, I have 4 items. Then let me open the log file. Now you can see here it has now the 1021 item, only one item is there, right? Now here it has not updated. Oh, like why is it? Right now when you run this, it has not updated. Right now it has not to replace, it has to update. Now it has to update. Now that's what I want to happen. Therefore, in order to do this, right now, here now, let me add a new item, insert, right, okay, close. Right now you can see here, now it has replaced. Therefore, in order to avoid that, go back to the code, and here where you said you pass the file object, pass the true. You have to pass true. Right. Okay. Now let's see about the date object thing as well. Right. Quickly. Right. Now let me add a date. I'm gonna pass. What happens here? No suitable constructor, no arguments. Right. What to do with the date now? Date equals new date. Date from JavaScript. Right. Okay. Let's see. Java.util. Okay, that's the problem here. JR equals new. I have used the SQL date. Right. New date. Right. Thereafter, I can get the date format. Date format object. Date format object. df equals date format dot get date instance. Right now we can get the date instance. Date format dot date format dot and we can pass the locally as well. LCL. Right now the locally also, if you want to get here, We'll declare a local variable as well. CLCL equals current local equals the locally objective identity. We have to change it into a public variable I'm going to assign, because otherwise I cannot access it from here. And I'm going to get it from the here, CLCL. Right. Now then I can get the date as well and added by user on the date also user on. I'm gonna get the date df dot format the date. Right, now let's see how it's gonna work. Now user has to log in, admin 1234, submit, okay, select the language. Yeah, user has to select the language, English, and then let's say here user gonna only for the insert it works now. Let's say I'm gonna delete view. One zero three. I'm gonna add insert, and 104. I'm gonna add insert, and I'm gonna change the language, and I'm gonna add 105 insert, and I'm gonna add 106 insert. In French, I'm gonna add 107. I'm gonna insert, and 108. I'm gonna insert. Right. Then let's try to figure out the open in the log file. You can see here it keeps on adding on the same line, right, with the different format. You can see the date has changed. Now in order to avoid this confusion, after this we will have after writing this into the file plus slash n. Yeah, now this will that confusion will get, that won't write in the same, right. Okay, I have changed it. Now let's run it and see. Right, now when you run this, admin 1234 submit, welcome admin, it displays, you select English, and then I'm gonna add another record 109, insert, right, and from the German I'm gonna add another one. 113 insert, and from the French I'm gonna add another one, just for your reference. Right. Okay, now let's open the log file and see. Now you will see line by line it displays. Right now item 109 added by the admin on, it is locally we have selected on English, therefore Saturday, according to German and according to the French, it will display. And now this is how this is gonna work out. Right. Okay. Now give me a second to give you what type of project I'm expecting from you to deal. Just a second. Right now, I'm expecting you to complete a project, any project, right? Now, with graphical user interfaces, with database connected, right? Therefore, at least there should be 4 to 5 user interfaces which clearly define attractive user interfaces with enough adequate components. Then I'm going to give you 5 marks. And it has to have 2 user roles. Now here we had only for 1 user role. In your system, you have to make sure that the system should has 2 different user roles. Like for an example, administrative user and like another like let's say now cashier or some other category, right, which has very less privileges. Now all the functionalities will not be able to perform by that particular user. Therefore, at least 2 different user roles. Then for that you will get 10 marks. And insert, update, delete, you get 15 marks. Right now I have showed you already. Now this I have done it already. This I have taught you already. Half of the way I have taught you. And search, not only what we did, right, omni search. Like not only item ID, it could be anything from anything. Using the search field, I would be able to search from anything. And then filters. You should be have to have some filters with some drop downs. Let's say now if it is an item has to have a category. Then you can filter from the category, and thereafter you can search from the available items. You can search from the item name. Likewise, if you do advanced search, yeah, with filters, search with filters. Okay. Now halfway I have taught you. Right now, then you have to do the rest. You get if you do current implementation 5 marks. If you perform with the filters, then 10 marks. Internationalization with 2 languages. Now I have taught you this as well. And how to write into a log files. I have taught you how to write into a text file here. How to write. Now I want you to have another interface where you read from the file. Where you read from the file and display it on our you using an interface, right? That I haven't done, but then reading part you have to done by yourself. For that you get extra 5 marks, right? Writing 5 marks, reading 5 marks, and displaying the date and time. Now not this. Now here I have just got a system date, the current date, and then that date and time won't change, right? Now you need to search about date time class, and then you need to find out a way to display the date and the time. Time has to be active. Time should be running. For that, you might have to search about threads and how to use threads, right? Then that's up to you. Now, this I have not taught you. Date, time. And generating a bill and receipt. Let's say now if it is an items, if the user purchase items, at the end, you need to generate a bill for the items you've added. You may provide discounts and you may have taxes and everything. Or if it is a library system, you need to have, when the user borrows a book, you need to create a receipt. Likewise, whatever the system, it doesn't matter, whatever the scope, according to that, when a user perform a transaction, a bill or receipt, you need to generate. That you have to do it by yourself. That also not taught you. And the reports. Right now, for an example, if it is a point of sale system, right, and if the admin user, when the admin logged in, if the admin can see by selecting 2 days time period, what are the items which has the highest performance, or like if you can search and learn about graphs and charts, how to show those in graphical way, very good. Whatever the way, at least if I can get custom reports, Like now within this date to this date, what are the orders placed? What are the items sold? What are the books lended or what are the books returned? Likewise, if I can search, that's what I'm talking here. And then I want this. Now this part also I haven't told you. This is what you have to learn by yourself. And then the new innovations, whatever you feel like you can add in new, right? Overall structure, reliability of the system, the accuracy and stability, right? For overall, I'll be giving marks. Then this is how the marks distribution, right? Therefore, you better, right? These already told, I have already told you. And then remember the pass mark is 45, right? Pass mark is 45. If you have not scored 45, you will not be given the certificate at the end, right? Then you know the last date is 27th, as I said, already informed earlier, 27th. Then we have next week classes, 20th. And at the beginning of the class, I'm going to ask from each of you what you are planning to do, what is your project, what is your scope. And then if you have user interfaces design or if you have done the database, likewise, then you can discuss with me what are the things you have done, what you need to do, and the features and everything. And I can give you feedback on that. And then likewise we could discuss. And then finally, 27th, I will evaluate your project. Right now, the next week you can ask questions and I need to discuss about exceptions and some theory parts to be covered. Then those will be covered in coming weeks. Right? Then anyway, 27th is going to be last date. Remember, that is the last date. Okay. Any questions you can ask now? Otherwise, we can wind up for today. Thank you. Any questions?
So we have to use the Java DB, the NetBeans one, no?
No, I don't mind. Any database you can use. I just showed you because it's easier for me to teach you using the Java DB because it's inbuilt. It doesn't matter. You can go ahead with SQL, MySQL, whatever you prefer, you can select it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I know there are ChatGPT and other things are also available. I know. But the thing is, you should be able to explain the code, right? There'll be a Viva session where I'm gonna ask questions from you, how you do that, how you get this output. Likewise, therefore, wherever you get the code, I don't mind, but you should be able to tell me what happens with that particular code segment. You should be able to explain the code. As long as you are familiar with the code, that's it, right?
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions you can ask? Otherwise, we can wind. Okay, if no questions, then we'll wind up for today then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.